The rites of the Jinn. A scene carved on the door lintel leading to room E is damaged, but using a parallel scene from a funerary temple of Ramesses III, Guyon describes a newborn infant lifted by Hay or Hayhet to be transformed into a winged scarab beetle above. 47. Room E is the chapel of the rites of the Jinn and the divine re-entrance, rites of the mounds of the Jinn, plates 22 and 23. The left side of the lintel is the upper register, shows the king wearing a kilt and ceremonial tail with the wife of the god holding a palm, and a priest carrying a standard with a falcon on the perch. However, the dominating scene is a mound with a wide band arching from two outstretched arms with hands open to the sky, suggesting the two arms of Lambda Genome. A falcon is centered between the arms on what appears to be a lotus, with the plumes of Ma'at or rightful order on the right. Plate 2, an indicator of Isis in the right order of Crow, binding first to the right operator sequence, activating analytic lifestyle. The text on the west wall states the words to be recited. Mayest thou fall at the place of thy head, and vice versa. Horus protects the eye for him. The TST standard is saved, upon which one settles. One can easily compare the lotus to the Calabi Yao space of 6 curled dimensions, so we are at the heart of matter, or the mansion of the six, the lambda genome on the host chromosome from which the horse species is born. The saving of the standard signifies crow protein control of the right lambda operator sequence, promoter right. The reference to the place of thy head points to the genome and phage morphology. The text continues referring to Amun Ra as Lord of the Thrones of the Two Lands, once again suggesting the combined activity of both lambda arms. The text then states that the B2W serpent is driven away, an echo of the Apophis theme from the pyramid text. IS 28 through 34. On the left side of the lintel and below the left, references are made to the Lord of the Sublime Arms, the arm of Geb, the arm of Horus. 53. From this point, it's obvious that the arm of Geb left and the arm of Horus right comprises the whole sublime arm. Again, this old kingdom theme is evident in the least corrupted pyramid text. The rites of divine re-entrance. The rites of the divine re-entrance also occur in room E. The re-entrance ceremony simulates the arrival of Amun Ra, Lord of the Thrones of the Two Lands. A priest welcomes a procession led by a prophet carrying a shrine chest with a curved roof containing the sacred uraeus, and followed by 4 persons who bear a rectangular being tabernacle with a curved roof. A votaress follows with her left arm covered and right hand holding a palm, a symbol of the vegetation god's victory, or Osiris, over inertness, that is, the victory of vegetative lytic replication over lysogeny. The legend under the tabernacle states the earthquakes, which Goyon notes is a reference to phenomenon accompanying Ra's arrival, described as the earth shakes, yet bursts into flames. At this point, we can recognize the tabernacle represents the soon to excise Osiris, that is, the re-entrance of Osiris. The language of quaking, bursting signifies the chemical reactive lytic path, the SOS response, and the excision of the prophets. The text referencing re-entrance, the first day mentions the flood, he who eliminates the perfect turquoise, the sublime of arms, Amun, primeval one of the two lands. The flood is the efflux or outflow of phage progeny from the cell, while the turquoise is an indicator of a bioluminescent attribute of the hard species or high frequency, high temperature blue light, which is more energetic than red. The arms, the two lands, indicate the full function of lambda genome and that results in the hard species. In addition, the text references, he is coming, and come to us, protect for us the two lands, O king of Upper and Lower Egypt, Ra, son of Ra, living eternally, suggesting the excision of the prophets. The composite of the hidden Amun and revealed Ra represents the transformations of Taharqa. So the two gods and the God-man Taharqa all are representative as one entity that becomes the hard species. We could say that there are three gods in one species. The text referencing re-entrance, the second day, also mentions illuminating the two lands in Amun Ra as sublime of arms. Thus, it's apparent that the ceremonies in the edifice of Taharqa mirror those depicted and described in the Amduat, the Book of Gates. This would suggest that the wife of God, or Vortress, is a representation of Isis, who signifies the lactose nutrient medium. The rites of protection at the cenotaph of Combe the Gene, plate 25, room E. The door lintel in the east wall of room E shows a Vortress, or the wife of the god, aiming a fourth arrow at the fourth target, having already shot 3 arrows at 3 targets. Guyon states that the targets indicate the 4 cardinal points of 4 foreign areas Egypt ruled. The text states that the rebels are driven away and fall on their faces. The feathers on the arrow suggest the 2 feathers of the goddess Ma'at, and that is Isis and Nephthys. In the center of this scene is the mound of Osiris, a crypt buried in a mound, surrounded by a wall and supported by an acacia tree, another indication or indicator of vegetative replication or lytic activity of the lambda genome, what we might call the tree of life. To the right is a representation of Taharqa throwing 4 balls. The throwing of balls, according to Goyon, the activities proceeded as followed. Each cardinal point, northwest, south, and east, or quarter of the world, is cursed. Then the king, attired in a kilt and dressed in his ceremonial tail, ran toward each of the 4 cardinal directions, throwing 1 clay ball in each direction with his right hand, which was symbolic of clearing away the enemies of Amun. His left hand held a white mace, suggesting the power of nutrient medium lactose in the castle of the mace, the left lambda arm. In the pyramid text 71, the dead king is not supported by the castle of mace, which represents the gang of Seth. The clay balls Taharqa throws are inscribed on the south ball, the names Amun and Montu, north ball, Shu and Tefnut, west ball, Neith and Wajit, and east ball, Sakmet and Baset. The text states that the balls are the protection of Ra, born of him, or the balls come into existence for Ra, and Ra gave them to his son Osiris to protect him forever. The text for the ball throwing states that the king throws the ball when he goes to make a halt at the mound of Osiris, just as he halted in the Amduat, the pyramid text, and the coffin text. The apocalyptic act of throwing balls or clearing the world can be compared to the usual result of lambda phage progeny production, which is a cell lysis or destruction. Balls of disc suggest the spherical phage heads. The image of the king with his right hand or right arm raised rather, his legs spread to throw, his left arm stretched out, in the same image of the envoy of heaven, Beneath the winged disc is our four of the Anduat, from both the tombs of Seti and Ramesses the Sixth. We can conclude that the images and textual translations in Rim E point to similar chemical events in the Amduat, the Book of Gates, the Book of Two Ways, the Coffin text, and Pyramid text, demonstrating an inherent unity of ideas within the funerary text.